As cryptocurrency investing becomes more popular, we find that transaction fees and exchange fees become a whole lot more expensive. There's a whole lot more competition coming into the markets now, so us investors get a whole lot wider choice of exchanges to choose from in order to get the best rates for buying and selling our cryptos. Now in today's video, I want to take a look at two of Australia's most popular and trusted cryptocurrency exchanges, CoinSpot and Independent Reserve, and compare these two to find out which one comes out on top when we compare buying and selling fees, liquidity, spreads, and transparency. If you're new to the channel, thanks so much for stopping by. My name is Pizzino, and on the channel, we help you understand everything there is to know about the markets and investing in order to grow your investment portfolio for financial freedom. With that said, everything on the channel is for education and entertainment purposes only. This is not financial advice. I've also left the timestamps in the description for the entire video that lays out the structure for this video, so you can come back and use it as a reference source at any point. Just be sure to save it in one of your YouTube watch lists. Now, at any point throughout the video, if you found some value from it, be sure to leave a like down below. It really helps me and the channel out a lot, getting this information out to more people on the internet. So be sure to hit the like down below before we get started. Now let's take a look at two of Australia's best and most trusted cryptocurrency exchanges, CoinSpot and Independent Reserve. So these are the screens that you'll be met with when you open up the homepage. I've got a link to both of these websites in the description down below. It's a referral link, so if you do use it, you will receive some free Bitcoin when you deposit and make a transaction on these exchanges. The first one is Independent Reserve. This is what it looks like. We just hit login. And the other is CoinSpot. This is what it looks like. And once you've logged in, this is what it looks like. With both of these, you'll need to have registered and verified your accounts. I do have other videos on the channel for these exchanges, so go and check those out. But for now, we just want to compare the two. Like I said in the intro, we want to compare the fees, the spreads, the liquidity, and then the transparency across the board. Now I'm going to use $1,000, $5,000, and $10,000 as an example. Now we'll start with Independent Reserve, and we have the option here in trade. We have a little bit more detail. Or we can use buy sell, which is an easy one-click method for buying and selling Bitcoin or Ethereum. This is the screen that we're going to use here, and then we're going to compare this to CoinSpot's buy and sell as well. So they've also got buy Bitcoin. Let's click on that. You can see it's a similar sort of screen. Now the pricing here is $6,279 per Bitcoin. If I go back to Independent Reserve, it is a lot cheaper at $16,077. Let's use 1,000 Aussie dollars and see what that comes up as. So 1,000 Aussie dollars gives us 0.061895505 Bitcoin. I'll just refer to the first 4 decimal places to make this a little bit easier. Now let's look at CoinSpot, and let's put another 1,000 in here, and we get 0.06137. Okay, so we're a little bit short when it comes to the differences between the two, just using the buy and the sell. So the difference is about 0.0005 of a Bitcoin. Now let's see what that is in dollar terms. Let's use our calculator. Now, because both of the Bitcoins are vastly different prices, I'm going to average them out and then figure out what that is. So the average between CoinSpot and Independent Reserve. So that's our average Bitcoin price. This is the amount that was different. Now let's hit enter, and we shall get the number, $8. So it's $8 difference for every $1,000 that we buy of Bitcoin on the Independent Reserve. So you can see that can start to add up if you're buying, say, $10,000 worth, which will be around $80 difference that you will lose if you were to buy that on CoinSpot compared to Independent Reserve. Now let's take a look at the liquidity on the markets. And to do that, we're going to go over to Market. And on CoinSpot, we're also going to go over to Market and hit view BTC market. And what we're looking for is the open sell orders and the open buy orders. So on Independent Reserve, we can see just how deep the market is. And this is what we're looking for here. Volume in BTC, we got 1.5, another 0.5 of Bitcoin, 0.68, 0.62, 1.5. So there's a lot of money moving in this side of the spread. Now the other side of the spread is 1.5, another 1.5, 0.1, 2 Bitcoin, 0.1, 0.5. And that's also pretty reasonably deep on this side as well. Let's have a look at CoinSpot and see how it compares. The open sell orders, now they've got 0.28. That's almost nothing, so it's $100. Again, they got 0.23. That's basically nothing. 0.4, 0.9. So they don't have, it's not too bad, but it also spreads quite far up the figures. So to get that sort of liquidity up to around 2 or so Bitcoin, you're looking at around 16,200 at this stage. Whereas Independent Reserve, to get your 2 Bitcoin, you're still at 16,061. So there's quite a big difference if you were to look at buying larger sums of Bitcoin. Now on the sell side, if you were to sell your Bitcoin, this is 16,001, another 16,000, and the size of it isn't too big. You would need to go pretty much all the way down to 15,950 to meet your 2 Bitcoin fill. Now if we look at Independent Reserve, theirs are going to be all the way down to basically 16,018 to meet your 2 Bitcoin sell order. So all that means is there is a lot more volume on the Independent Reserve exchange than there is on CoinSpot. So if you had a bigger order that you wanted to be buying and selling with, you wouldn't lose too much money in the spreads. Whereas on CoinSpot, you would have to go quite a fair distance further in order to meet the order that you want to get filled. That's another positive for Independent Reserve for this example. Now, as for the transparency, we can't see the total amount of volume that has been traded on CoinSpot, whereas on Independent Reserve, we can see it right up here. This is the volume of Bitcoin that's being traded. 137 Bitcoin in the last 24 hours, updated every 10 seconds. And you can see all of those details right here. Now with CoinSpot, as I said, it doesn't show up here, and most people probably aren't going to be using this sort of buy and sell section if they're new. They're going to use something more simple like a buy and sell, pretty much one click. And that's what we see here. And this figure is far higher than on the Independent Reserve one click buy and sell. So again, that's a little addition into the transparency of the 2 platforms. And that's why I like the look of Independent Reserve again under the transparency. So far we've covered the fees, we've covered the liquidity, the volume, and the transparency. And all 3 of those have come up trumps for Independent Reserve. The one thing I like going for CoinSpot is they have a wide range of cryptocurrencies to choose from in order to buy them. So the only problem is getting onto CoinSpot in the first place. You're losing a fair bit when it comes to buying Bitcoin or Ethereum in the first place. And after that, they do have a lot more coins to look at, whereas Independent Reserve only has a short list here of coins. With that said, many of these coins can be seen as older, maybe even dead projects from the previous bull market in 2017. Therefore, there's not much volume being traded on them and not much interest at all. Whereas Independent Reserve still has quite a lot of tokens which have been traded regularly in this coming bull market. So that's something to keep in mind. It's not financial advice. You'd really have to go through the dozens and dozens of coins here on CoinSpot, but from what I can see as a quick overview, I think a lot of these aren't being traded anywhere near as much as the majors or the new coins in the DeFi space. Now, before we wrap up the comparison, let's take a quick look at the quick buy for Ethereum on both platforms. Now, at this point in time, Ethereum is at $549 if I wanted to buy Ethereum on CoinSpot. And on Independent Reserve, it's at $535. So again, quite a big difference. That's around $14. And $14 represents about 2.6% difference between the platforms. That's how much you'd be losing if you were to buy Ethereum on CoinSpot as a quick buy as opposed to buying it on Independent Reserve. Pretty big thing to keep in mind, in my opinion. Now, it's easy to see which one comes out on top when it comes to the fees. That's obviously Independent Reserve. The transparency, the liquidity, everything in that realm is easily won by Independent Reserve. However, the choice of cryptocurrencies easily goes to CoinSpot. The way I would look at this is I would be using Independent Reserve to be buying my majors, and if I wanted to and I couldn't find any other way to buy my alts, then maybe I would go to CoinSpot. Keep in mind that the fees are quite high on CoinSpot, so even if you were to go and buy the other cryptocurrencies on CoinSpot, then you could be losing a fair bit in those spreads. Overall, I think you could probably save hundreds, if not thousands of dollars on fees if you were looking to buy and sell larger quantities of cryptocurrency, especially as we get closer to the next bull market. What is worth 10,000 now may be worth 100,000, 200,000 in the coming years. So that's something to keep in mind as well. So that's my outcome with 2 of Australia's best and most trusted cryptocurrency exchanges. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Which is your most trusted cryptocurrency exchange in Australia as your fiat on-ramp gateway? I've left the referral links to CoinSpot and Independent Reserve in the description down below, so you can go and get started setting up your cryptocurrency wallets on those exchanges. You can catch me on Instagram or on future videos on the channel, so be sure to subscribe and leave a like down below if you found some value from the video. I'll catch you guys at the next one, but until then, have more fun to get more done. Peace out.